Father, we come now. This is something that we know how.
Yes.
Lord, we thank you that you have allowed us to sit ourselves together one more time. Heavenly Father, by being here, we pray that you will anoint us for your word. Father, search our hearts, our minds, and our soul. Now, Heavenly Father, we pray that you will able us to lay aside every weight that's so easy to put to self. We may be able to hear your word, study your word, and let your word be a part of our everyday life. Bless the one that's going to teach your word, and bless every ear that's going to hear your word. Father, bless all in every situation. We know that all power is in your hand. For that reason, we say thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Absolutely. I love that prayer. And he said that sometimes you got to lay aside every weight. That's a good thing. We get distracted and get weighed down by situations in life sometimes. And a lot of times when we come in with all those weights upon us, we're here physically, but we're not here spiritually. So let's make sure we don't allow the enemy to distract us so that while we're here, we can learn and take the word and allow it to be used for what we really need it for. Is there anything going on anybody want to share with us while we get set up a situation? Anything going on somebody want to talk about or share? I know the politics has been on everybody's mind all week long. Anybody want to talk about any of that? Get that off of us.
I went to the voting stand and just couldn't vote. I don't trust none of
You
them.
said what now?
I said I went up to the voting stand, what was it, yesterday?
Yesterday,
I didn't even,
yeah.
I had to return the book at the library, and that's my area to vote.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't even feeling it. I said, God knows.
Yeah.
Exercise.
Yeah, it's a difficult time.
It was hard. I voted, but I thought about look what God is, and I voted big.
So as a believer, let's talk about it. We can help each other. As a believer, though, how do we find our way through all this? Because it can be so discouraging, so defeating, and so frustrating because of what the government and the leaders seem to be doing. So how can we maintain and keep moving and be encouraged?
We gotta trust the same God we've been trusting that our ancestors trusted.
Say it again, Ann. Say that loud. Good.
We gotta trust the same God our ancestors trusted.
Amen.
Those prayers and those spiritual hymns helped them get through, and that's what we're gonna have to go back to.
That's right.
Praying and singing and calling on our God.
Amen.
And these times is all that we can do.
Amen. Anybody else?
I believe, God has been there for a reason, so He can show His, so everybody talk about it, they can show the real colors. But He don't do no more than God let Him, so that means that whatever happened, God allowed Him to happen. Maybe to draw us closer to Him.
Yeah.
But we got way away from Him.
Yeah.
They gonna be doing everything.
Yeah. I believe there's some truth to that. Sister Evans, I saw your hand up.
And just always remember God is still in control no matter what.
No matter what. No matter what. Absolutely. It's easy to know that inside of us, but kind of live our life as if we still got to be confounded by all these other things. Yeah, we have to be in this world. We have to make our way in this world. But we are kingdom citizens. We get our orders from God. And we are citizens of where He reigns. So we, at the end of the day, we have to get our order and our direction and guidance on how to make it in this world based off of what He says in His Word and His truths. Because ultimately, at the end of all of this, that's the only thing that's going to stand, and that's the only thing that's going to last. All this other stuff, as frustrating as it can be, is still only temporary.
Yeah.
So we can't afford to allow that to consume us so much that we lose sight of what we're really working on and what we're really building towards. So we have to do whatever we got to do, encourage each other, like Ann was saying. Part of it, I believe, is God's design to get us back to depending truly on Him for each little bitty step. Because through some of the more fruitful times of our life, it's easy to know God is there, but things are going fairly well that we don't kind of depend on Him as a whole as much as we normally do. But when we get in situations where everything else ain't working out too good, it reminds us that we do have that constant, that mainstay, and it reminds us of how good He is. So,
I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
Do you think God is the one years ago kept us, how our ancestors fought
Yes, ma'am.
to try to vote? God opened that door for many people.
Yes. Yes. Do I believe that?
Uh-huh.
Oh, absolutely I do. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I do. I definitely believe that was by His hand and for a part of His overall plan.
Yeah.
I do. I believe that wholeheartedly. And we can't afford to allow the vision and the intent of what he intended then to die now. You know, we got to uphold that plan that he had for them, and it was to start with them, but it was to continue through us and to take it to another level.
Rotation.
Yes, sir.
What we got to remember, see, my dad was one of the first blacks in Athens to vote. He was one of the third person in Athens as a World War II veteran.
Uh-huh.
And what he didn't get to see is what we saw before. We don't realize when we don't vote, we don't know what we're doing to our kids, grandkids, and on down the line. We may not see some things change and see some things happen, but if we don't use our rights,
Yeah.
they're going to show us struggle when that time comes.
Yeah.
So right now, it may not be about us, but it may be about this generation and generations to come.
Yeah.
So as long as you got a right, you got to use your right. It may not look like it's right, it may not look like it count now, but it will count later.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no voice. If you don't vote, you don't have no voice. If you don't vote, you don't have no opinion.
That's right.
Yeah, I agree with
I
that.
mean, that's the way it related to me when I was first asked to register to vote at the age of old enough to vote. That's what they told me. You vote now, and it'll show later.
That's right.
Well, I voted now some 35, 40 years ago. And look what we done seen. We done seen some changes. I done seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of changes because I'm going to share this with y'all and then I'm going to try to be quiet. When I got 19, got out of school, and we got educated, they sent me and a few more people down to Montgomery to take a test for the TVA engineering job. We passed that test, but they did away with our paperwork. Yeah. They really did. And one of the girls, they sent her to Nashville. One of the guys, he got a job working at Kmart in Madison, and I had to just step out on the Lord and pray that he would bless me, and he did. But
Yeah.
some of y'all don't know some of the struggle that we've been through. It wasn't that we didn't know nothing, but they took what we had and they said it got mistakenly lost. And that's something I had to deal with for the rest of my life. It didn't stop me from making something out of my life, but it did help me back on a lot of things that could have been better. And I know it would have been better, but I thank God as well as it is.
All right. Anybody, as difficult as it is, y'all, God didn't bring us this far to leave us now.
Amen.
He really didn't. We got to know that and cling to that.
I'm so impressed with the young people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing how they're stepping forward and giving their voices. And I'm not saying that all the protests are peaceful, but they're standing for something. Because if you don't stand for something, you can fall for anything.
Yeah. All right.
They want to not want you to vote anyway, so anything they can do to keep you from doing it, they gonna do it. But you just have to go on anyway. I know sometimes that, you know, my vote ain't, you vote and then you come up and don't never win, but you voted. So that's in your heart, you did what you can do.
Absolutely. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else?
Yeah, I got to get this off my chest. All that love and peace, that sounds beautiful. Now I got to talk from the flesh. I'm sorry. I just think he looked like a demon up there talking about he denounced the plans and all that. I didn't like it. And then I had to go to work but I was surprised. They were being extra nice across the because I thought, now, I said, he really did show who he was. He tried to breathe like he was all sweet and sugar. I declare Klansmen and all the Nazis and all that. And now I'm feeling better, Pastor. I've got it all.
Got it all. I was surprised it took that long. We was trying to be all deep and spiritual. Appreciate you being honest.
Yeah, I feel
We
better.
gotta get it out so that we can get back to what we gotta hold on to. Right?
I'm just gonna say, I'm glad God showed us reality.
There you go.
He took us to reality. He's showing us who the people really are
That's
around
right.
us.
That's right.
We see the devil everywhere, and I just thank him for reality because he has shown, as I say, he has been his head or whatever he said. He's done.
And that's what I was going to come to. That's really what's happening for us. God is exposing and showing a lot of things that have been hidden. They've been there, but now it's coming out so that we can see it. Not for us to react and lose our place, but for us to be aware of where the attacks are coming from so we can better handle and know how to counter them. We've raising a hand back here.
Yeah, one thing is too is consider is that when Barack Obama was in this White House, all black folks were so happy and putting their trust in him and felt like what he's gonna do. Then when Trump come in there, they would, so God is just showing us that we shouldn't put our trust in man.
Yeah, right.
Our trust shouldn't be in no man,
Yeah.
it should be in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a hint that maybe not those that were really are truly believers, but yeah, as a people, it was it's kind of a sigh of relief
Yeah.
that we finally had overcome some of the things that we've struggled through all those years.
Mhm.
And it's good to have enjoyed that time. But this is a reminder to us that our struggle's not over, our work's not done, and two, the source of that struggle, the victory we have, is not any single person. It's God Himself.
Yeah.
So you're right on that. Okay. Anybody?
Then too, we'll find out, I think, in my heart, I find out eventually, we gonna find out all the other stuff he has done before he got to be anything.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's
He,
true.
he is rough, he is a mess.
Amen. All right. Anybody else?
I was gonna say too, anytime you see that I don't like saying white and I don't like saying black. But anytime you see white people discussing this and telling how they really feel about, them going against us, then that shows you too, because like I say, you think that a lot of them are against us, but you got more for us than we. That's true.
That's true.
We have more for us.
Even what we say a lot of times in the church applies here. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is, what says the Lord, Spirit says of the Lord. Basically, even now, despite all the things that are going on, those of us that know God, let's cling to Him. And when He exposes these things and shows us, let's not treat people the way that they act like they want to be treated or the way they treat other people. Let's now do what we know to do and stand in the place in the love of God and do what that calls for that moment. Sometimes that's to be kind to somebody that you know don't deserve it. Sometimes it's just to stay in your own space and not get involved.
Yeah.
But whatever it is that God would have you to do, be that light that's needed right now, because as dark as it may be, God's light still shines bright. And anybody that needs to see which way to go can see which way to go by that light, and we are that light.
But people should have realized when he was running, and we all supposed to be America. When he kept saying, take America back, take it back from what? 8 years of Obama, then the first thing they holler, now we in charge, so they ought to realize things. But God has stuff happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And I just pray that God, that I change now when all this is happening, that I wouldn't. And I'm thankful.
That's good. That's good. That's good. All right, back, we got a comment up here.
White people now see that they in trouble too.
Because these young people ain't gonna back down like this.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Lisa. All right. Well, I just wanted to, yes, ma'am. Yes.
Did anybody see Rachel Maddow show last night?
The Rachel Maddow show, anybody see it?
Yeah. How about so?
Did you see where they were having the Democratic convention in 1927 in New York? Trump's father was arrested with the Ku Klux Klans that was marching, and they were there by the thousands, and he was one of the ones, his father was a Klan.
All right. Wow. I didn't see that. Yes, ma'am.
I was listening to the radio to see Martin Luther King did a speech in 1967 in Cushing, April. And he said that this day
Will come. Yeah.
He was just so like it was yesterday, was talking about Martin Luther King preached on that speech.
Yeah. This day and time we're in has not caught God off guard. And He will forewarn us and then guide us if we stay with Him. So now's not the time for us to lose heart, lose sight. Yeah, it can be intimidating, frustrating, aggravating, but we serve a one true living God. The God we serve will keep His his own and protect his own, and he's ultimately still in control. So don't be discouraged, be encouraged. I just wanted us to have a little therapy session. Get it out of the way to make sure that we have what we need so that we can withstand.
And everybody breathe.
Everybody breathe, take a breath. We good. All right, this was our question from last week. We talked about, the previous week we've been talking about worship, we talked about doxologies and so forth, and the importance of worship. So the question was, name 3 kinds of worship that are forbidden. So somebody talk to me. What's that? Thou shalt have no other gods before you. All right, Cynthia?
Pretty much what she said, idolatry worship, worshiping of statues, human beings, power, money, status, property, angel worship.
Okay, y'all hearing these? Angel worship. Say them loud. Say the first one you said again.
Idolatry worship,
Idolatry worship.
which is worshiping of a statue of human beings.
Statues, power,
Money,
money,
Status.
yeah, and I'm coming back to that. Go ahead.
and angel worship.
Angel worship. We should be worshiping angels. Okay.
Worship of moon and stars, which is astrology.
All right, astrology. Okay.
That's 3.
Very good. Okay, she got her 3. Anybody else got something?
I got a demon.
Demon? Okay, absolutely.
And it says the sun.
The sun, which is a part of astrology. Yep. All right. Anybody else? What's that?
The devil.
The devil, absolutely. That should be a good one. And man. I like that. Yeah, very good. And self, yeah, that's part of it too.
For example, Jesus told us about that in Matthew 4th chapter, 8 through 10.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Absolutely. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Worship stuff, your belongings and stuff.
Absolutely. That's part of the idolatry. Okay. That's the first one I wanted to talk about, because obviously we know from the Old Testament especially that we aren't to worship idols and erect things that take the place of God. So that's kind of understood. But what's a little more subtle are the present day idols that people tend to worship. Let's talk about some of them. Some of them have been mentioned. Money is a big one.
Oh, yeah.
We probably talked about that some. How can somebody worship money? Now that we know what worship is, how can we worship money?
You
Especially,
work yourself to death to try to get it, and all you're selling them is money. Money is.
I was actually going to say, how can you worship money if you don't have none? That's what I was going to say, but you answered that. If you're in a place where you feel like you're in lack, and all your aspirations and energy is towards attaining money for the sake of money, then you are worshiping money, even though you may not feel like you possess it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What you saying, Deborah?
I think they were able to say.
I said, we like Trump.
All right, so how so? Yes, it can. How do you want to explain how? Validation. She said, can validation be one? Seeking acceptance. Seeking acceptance. Seeking to be validated by people. By others. It's a form of insecurity. I talked about that Sunday. It's a form of seeking the approval of man. That falls under that man category. All right? Yes, ma'am.
Maybe like self-worship?
Self-worship. Absolutely. That's what it is.
Worshiping animals.
Animals? Yeah. Believe it or not. You're right. Some people do. They got bathrooms and things and all kinds of things for their animals. And that, yeah, but being materialistic pretty much covers all those things. Anytime you put the material things you have or the pursuit of those things, I really want to harp on that. When you pursue those things as your ultimate goal or your place of satisfaction, that's when that thing has become an idol to you. All right, now let's turn the page a little bit. Another one I want us to talk about that we sometimes overlook are family and friends and people. How can people, and especially those close to you that you love, how can they become a form of an idol?
You put them before God.
Put them before God, Sister Carter. How can we put them before God? What's a sign of you putting somebody before God? Does it mean you can't help people?
No.
Want to be like,
Want to be like, okay.
Easy.
You got on the pedestal.
Okay. All right.
Well,
Say it.
my thing with certain folks is they don't know why you
why you can't go do this with us, you know, or something like that, you know, but I figured if I have something to do on Sunday, at this, well, if I'm not here at this church, I'm gonna be somewhere else in the service, or that's what I'm planning to do. But it's like, I had forgot that I had told them that I was gonna do something for them. And it was like, we had the morning service, and then I had to leave church and go and do that, and
Yeah.
was really bad on my health and strength, whatever, and then I came back, because I feel I don't wanna put them before me doing something that would draw somebody else to Christ.
Okay.
Not that I'm just obligated to the church, no, it's that I want to help somebody else to see Christ. And then the first thing I had to deny myself.
Okay. All right.
Okay, today I was listening to the news, and perfect example. This lady is, she's the president of the Elvis Presley club.
Okay.
His anniversary's coming up or something, and she says, I just love Elvis Presley. I just love Elvis Presley. She says, when I die and go to heaven, first one I want to see is my husband, and then I want to see Elvis. I'm like, oh my God. I said, the first person I want to see is Jesus.
I had heard that one. That's a good example.
Somebody said that, they said they didn't want to see their mama because she was so mean. I might be in the wrong place. He said, I need to see Jesus.
All right, Deborah, go ahead. Yeah.
That they decide to stop going to church, they stop participating in things that's godly.
Okay.
And they kind of turn.
That's what it leads to. You're right. Yeah. When your loyalty and your affections take you to a place where your actions are now more catered towards a person than it is what God would have you to do. That's how they can become an idol. That's a very good example. All of these are good examples. Anybody else real quick?
You know, everybody put movie stars and stars,
Yeah.
football players, basketball players.
Yeah. That's kind of the Elvis Presley
Stars,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. You can even put pastors and ministry leaders. A lot of people worship their pastor now. It's a dangerous thing. Yeah, and some pastors and leaders aspire to be that idol in people's lives. They will make you believe and feel as though you can't get to God without coming to them. So be careful. God, that's why the veil was ripped. We can go to Him ourselves. A pastor or a leader should be helping to nurture and guide you, support you, and to teach you how to find some of your hearing so that you can maintain your connection with God. They shouldn't become your God substitute.
Right.
Okay?
It's just like I was looking at Bill Gates, and he just gave so many billions to charity or something. He got lots of black colleges, he got a lot of this money.
Yeah.
And he said he's not going to leave his kids, because he's one of the richest men.
Yeah.
The kids ain't getting that money. So, I mean, that's good in a sense, that's what I'm saying, but that's somebody that's not controlled by his money.
Yeah.
That's a good sense. I mean, like having money is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
As long as you try to do something with it, and like you see, like you're doing something good.
Okay.
Like you helping other people, like you serve God by helping people.
Very good.
So you got that means to do it.
Yeah. All right. So we got material things. Money is material thing. Money. People. Now astrology. Real quick. Astrology.
What's your sign? For some people,
base everything they do around those things. Yeah. That's a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
Are you not supposed
I
to
used to
do
get
this?
it.
Well, your horoscope.
Let's talk about it. She said, "Are you talking about as a Christian, right? As a Christian, is it wrong to read your horoscope?"
If you base it on what you just said, the word of God. If you base it on what you just said, are forbidden, that was in the word of God. He said, do not aspire to those astrologists, to those things. So, and you say it's just for entertainment, but it's entertainment, but to him, he says, you got to be careful because we don't understand some things. And what we think is just entertainment, there's a spirituality that's still a part of that we don't know.
All right. I'm coming back to that. Okay.
Tell him something you just said.
I just said as long as you don't believe it. You can read it, but you
All right.
don't believe what it's saying.
Now I'm gonna confess some things to you first, and then help you with it. When I think it was right out of high school or so, I think I just started fire department, whatever. I didn't read them, but you see them in the newspaper, and it surprised me that sometimes those things actually seem to be true. So what I'm saying is, and what I know now, let me tell you what I know now, it's a spirit realm. The spirit realm is real, y'all. And that's why Jesus, the Bible warns us about it. Now, so there's something to it, but do I want that to be what guides my life? So now, everything's permissible, but not everything's profitable. Now, as a Christian and a believer, I got to decide, do I want to live my life based on everything God says? If so, I need to pay attention to that scripture that says and warns me not to entertain these things, because even though they in and of themselves aren't necessarily wrong for some people, that may not be the best thing for me, because I don't want to get confused on who or what is guiding my life. Okay? So when I'm telling you this, because some people can take something that's true about your life and say, look, see, that said that was going to happen. And there might be some truth to it, because the spirit realm does have an influence over a lot of things we experience. However, I want God in control of my life. So I'm not getting answers and guidance from astrology and these things, because God is my astrologer. Okay? So does that cover everybody? So there you go. Any questions, comments? What was the one that used to be on TV? Cleo, Miss Cleo. All right. So that's good. So we got several different types of worship. Obviously, demons and devils, we obviously don't want to be involved in that, because he is the ruler of the dark world. So anything that's of an evil influence is going to have demonic powers behind it. And we as believers don't want to be standing in that. Okay? All right. Anybody else real quick before we turn the page on this? Yes, sir.
Two experiences. One I had with the experience with, I'm not knocking the oil. My dad was on his deathbed, and I asked the minister that I know real well. He said, I'll come do a prayer with my dad. He said, can't do it now, bro. Y'all ain't got no oil. I was glad he said that, because a lot of folks ain't gonna call no name. I said, you ain't got your oil? I said, that's okay, don't worry about it. I called him when he got home, and we talked. And a few days later, he called me back and apologized. He said, bro, y'all just woke me up. Because he said, I didn't need my oil to come in that scripture. But see, he would talk that, he would teaching folks that. And another thing on what y'all just said, if you don't really believe in the Lord, and the doctor give you some news, or a lawyer give you some news, or your kids give you some bad news, and you ain't got to this paper to read, you up to preach. So that's why they got to come from God. I mean, he'll give it to you so quick, he'll be done prepared you before you even get the news. And you didn't get the warning, but if you go back to early in the morning, you'll say, well, that's what God was trying to tell me. Or you'll go back 2 or 3 days later, and then you say to yourself, that's what God was trying to tell me. This is what he was preparing me for. So he'll prepare us for some things if we listen to this. It may not happen today, tomorrow, or next year, but he will prepare you. So he don't let nothing sneak up on us. And a lot of y'all done did before. That's what he was trying to tell me. It's the spirit. It ain't something told me. It's either the spirit of the devil or the spirit of the Lord. Ain't no something told you nothing. The Lord told you.
Yeah. He will. God will guide you. He will warn you. And he's told us and taught us, my sheep know my voice. So when he speaks, you recognize the familiarity of, this is something I need to pay attention to, or this is something I need to be cautious about. And it's to your benefit to be obedient to that, because that's God trying to guide you or show you something. I'm sure many of us have testified that God has given us an inclination or a dream or a vision, or somebody told us something, and then when you got to it, you said, I knew this was going to happen, or I've seen this before. You're not caught off guard.
Try the spirit,
by the spirit. Absolutely.
The spirit that came to you then, that spirit come back.
But that's why you got to have the Spirit of God, because the Spirit of God bears witness with the Spirit of God. And if somebody that's not the Spirit of God, you recognize it. I mean, this don't sit well with you. That's what people say. It don't sit well. Something ain't right about it. And so God will protect you from being involved with something or somebody that's not of Him. But you got to know Him enough to recognize, because the enemy, the devil, is a master of deception. The Bible says he walketh about as a roaring lion. He's not the roaring lion, but he's imitating a roaring lion to get our confidence down, to gain our trust, And then when we let our guard down and get by ourselves, he shows us who he really is. And now we've moved ourselves from the protection that we had, and now we're susceptible to his attacks. So we got to recognize and have the spirit of discernment which God gives, so that we will stay close to what's real and true and not fall for the counterfeits. Does that make sense? All right, good deal. Good deal. Anybody else? Questions, comments on that? All right, let's get back to our study here. We were on number 4 last week. Did we finish number 4 on worship, or were we still on it? Y'all remember? Number 3 was on number 3? Are we finished 3 or we were on?
Last week we did on 4, Romans 8:28.
Romans 8:28. So did we talk about worship involves me getting out of the way?
Yeah, we on number 4.
We're on number 4.
We talked about the changing of your focus and all that.
All right, so we did talk about feelings and fears being submitted so that we have the focus, right? All right, did we go over that text, Hebrews 13:15?
Yes.
All right, so we're ready for number 5. All right, did everybody get number 4 first of all?
No, what was 4? Personal sacrifice.
Personal sacrifice. Worship involves a personal sacrifice. We talked about praise tends to be easier when times are good and we have a victory, but we can't base all of our worship on things being always well. It requires a sacrifice. You got to sacrifice how you feel about things or things that you may be intimidated by, so that it does not rob you of the focus that's needed for you to stay connected with God. Okay? That's what we talked about. I'll give you all a minute to get caught up on that and jot that down if you need. Jesus, that text, that Hebrews text, Jesus is teaching us, reminding us to always offer a sacrifice of praise. And I remember a little bit of this. Does anybody remember why praise becomes a sacrifice? What makes it a sacrifice? Because we don't always feel like doing it. We don't always feel like praising God. Even though we know He's good, we believe He's good, our feelings sometimes take control of us to the point that we don't really physically feel like doing what's needed to praise God. However, you need to know in those moments where you don't feel like it, your feelings does not rob you of your praise.
Amen.
Keep your praise with you. And when you get over your feelings, make sure you go back to giving God the praise He deserves. Okay? Don't let the enemy use the feelings of your life to rob you of praise, because remember, He inhabits the praises of His people. Praise is where God dwells. And if He robs you of praise, He robs you of the presence of God. The manifested presence of God. God is always with us, but the manifested presence of God. God shows up when we can persevere through how we feel or how we're upset about things and recognize who He is. He shows up and He begins to handle the things we tend to be worried and concerned about. You have your hand up. Okay. Any questions or comments on that? All right, so this is not always convenient and feels good, but it wouldn't be here if it's not important, because there will come a time and a season or even a moment where your feelings will feel like all you can deal with at that time in your life. But don't let yourself stay there. Let it be a moment, but at the end of the day, feelings and fears have to submit to the worship we have for God. All right, are we ready for number 5? All right, let's go. Number 5 is we must worship in the face of pain and loss. Pain and loss. Let's give some clear examples of pain and loss so that we can identify with it. If you read it already, you know something about King David, I'm going to talk about that one. But give me some real life examples of a pain we might feel or a loss that would normally affect our worship. Death is the obvious one. Obviously, if you lose somebody, especially somebody near and dear to you, it would normally rob you of wanting to worship God. Some people even experience death and say, if God be a loving God, why would He allow this to happen to me? That's a real situation and place in life that people find themselves. We're going to talk about that a little bit. What's another loss or pain? Divorce. That is another one. to some people, and anybody who's gone through it might can attest to this, a divorce is a form of death.
Yeah,
It really is.
it is.
The pain and the loss that you experience through that ordeal is very similar to the grieving that happens when people lose a loved one. So that's a very good one. Deborah, were you going to say something? All right, so we got death, we got divorce. What's another one?
Heartbreak or rejection.
Heartbreak or rejection. Absolutely. The pain of rejection, of not feeling enough for somebody, is very painful and would rob you of worship if you're not careful. Yes, ma'am.
Loss of a job.
Loss of a job. Very good. Yes. Loss of homes. Absolutely. Amen. Loss of houses, cars, things that you depend on. Things that are important to you, that makes you feel comfortable, that provides for you and your family. All these things, the loss of those things, if we're not careful, can ruin our worship life. All right, anybody got anything else? What's that? For health. Absolutely. For health. All of a sudden, just like that, you got a bad doctor's report, and all of a sudden, your whole world has shifted because of your health.
Sometimes, like I say, you blame God for it. Why you doing this?
Absolutely do.
I'm going to church all the time, and all of a sudden, you got this.
That's very real. That's a very real part of this, and I want us to identify with this. Yes.
Really, when we actually hit rock bottom.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Everything all at one time, they may not come right at that moment, but they fall in place. And just keep dwindling down. And when you get down there, then it's like, you know.
Yes.
Then that brings you back, then you got to really call on it.
It can. Some people hit rock bottom and stay rock bottom.
Yeah.
Then there's those of us that hit rock bottom, but then we look up. And God comes to rock bottom, and then He begins to restore us. So it's to help us realize that when we get to the rock bottom place, we have options. We can stay where we are and allow our life to be defined by the things that caused us to hit rock bottom, or we can take it as a learning experience, draw off of the truths and the power that God provides, and as He restores us, He increases our testimony and our faith. And I'm getting ahead of myself, but you begin to learn something through your rock bottom experience. Okay, any more pains and losses before we talk about it a little bit?
Yeah,
Yes.
can I be transparent?
You can be transparent.
Somebody just happened to mention that. And the Elder Cable mentioned, blaming God. And that's one of the first things that I talked to someone about. Is like, I never blamed God about the loss of health and things like that. There's come a time during this ordeal that worship with intensity and that fire that was once there doesn't seem to be there at times. And it's like, it's a push to try to get past that. And I guess in my mind, it was a rationale that you have to be jumping up, you have to be yelling, you got to be screaming, because that's worship, not understanding what Jesus meant, that those who worship me must worship me in spirit and in truth. Spirit and truth comes. When that pain and loss comes, can you still say amen, even if it's not an excited amen, it's the truth amen that God's in you. That I still bless you, even though I don't have the energy to just jump. I don't have the energy to do this. I still have the energy in my spirit to say, I still believe, and I still trust you.
Amen. That's what He means when He says, be still and know that I'm God. It don't always mean you got an outward expression like she said, that you feel like you just got to show it. Sometimes it's a quiet confidence in the face of adversity, and that faith and that knowing is what really pleases God. That is worship. When you can be still in the midst of an unideal circumstance and still recognize the presence of God and who He is, He still recognizes that as a great sign of worship. And you may not even say a word.
Amen.
If you can't say a word, wave your hand. Sometimes you can't even do that. It's just a no.
But that, like you said, that I guess God rejoices that you don't got to that point. That no, this is where He want me to be, and that's when He, like that, He don't say nothing. The sermon or song, whatever, gets to that point.
Yeah.
Sometimes all you do is just be still.
Yeah. He has a way of getting your attention.
Yeah.
But I appreciate Renisha for being transparent, because she's a good illustration for us here. Because we've seen her acting. She's a worshiper. She's a praiser. She was there when she was younger. So that's just who she is. So for her to go through her experience and describe some of the emotions of it, and then for us to see how she deals with it, gives us a real understanding of what faith looks like. It's not always you being in your normal state of being able to carry it out, but the faith itself never leaves you if you tune into it and allow that to become your barometer of how you stay connected with God. I've had to encourage her on this journey at some time, and sometimes she's had to encourage me. There have been times we both down and our kids have to encourage us. We ain't superhuman people, and neither are any of us in here. Life is real, but God is even more real. And He has a way of restoring and replenishing you when you come back to Him. That's what it means. They that wait upon the Lord. You keep waiting on Him and stand confidently in Him. He has a way of renewing your strength and providing for you what's needed when it really gets down to the time for us to move forward. Yes, ma'am.
I've had that experience with my family. A lot of you all don't know. In 2011, in March, I lost my mother. In July, I lost my sister. In August, I lost my grandson. And I really didn't know how I was going to make it. But I put my trust in the Lord, and I said, He's not going to leave me here by myself. And everybody knows I lost my husband, I lost my daughter. I mean, I have had a lot of disappointments, heartache, and pain. And I learned to really trust in God. That's right. And He's just never has left me. I make a comeback each time. And I keep going, and I keep going, and I try to be an inspiration. I try to be an inspiration to my friend Betty when she went through the same thing. And it gave me consolation to reach out and help her. But, I mean, it was hard, but I made it.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm still here.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for sharing that. And I'll piggyback off of that because I feel like it's right to do. And you don't really know who all you've inspired by your faith walk. And I'm one of them. I'm being transparent. I was a child when Cheryl died. But I remember that. I can remember sensing the tragedy of that moment as a child. And then watching later on, like you said, as we lost Jesse. Jesse McCord, this is what we're talking about. He was about a year or two younger than me. So when we lost him, that was a little bit more real. But I knew you and Miss McCord were close, and God allowed you to go through something so you could be a help and a support to her. And then later on, as we lost that Alvin, our kids' generation, now they get an experience of what that's like. But in each situation, God has been faithful because His strength is what we all depended on. 20, 30 years ago, He was just as faithful and strong then, and He sustained us through all the tragedies. Just to let us know life is going to be filled with ups and downs. But if you learn to draw off of that strength and tragedy, you can have a testimony and an opportunity to tell somebody who's standing over a grave, this may seem like the end of the world, but it will get better. The pain may be there, but God will help you with the pain. You can tell them that from a place that somebody who has not been there can't really identify with. So we all have a testimony, a part of our story. Things that we've gone through and been through that God has helped us overcome. It was for us to learn about Him, yes, but not just for us. It's to help somebody else as they find themselves in those same places. Okay? So thank you for sharing it. Anybody else? Any other questions or comments? So we've given several examples of pain and loss. Now the example that was given was David. He demonstrated what it means to worship in the face of loss and pain when his baby died. Does anybody remember this part of his life? You know when this happened? This was after he committed adultery with Bathsheba. She actually became pregnant through that ordeal. And she's with child, and the child was in danger. So the child was born, I can't remember how old. You remember how old the child was? I can't remember how old he was, but he was real sick. But he prayed and he prayed. He prayed and he prayed. He was the king. He was a man after God's own heart. He prayed for his child. Prayed intently. But did his prayer produce the child living? No. Despite his prayers, the child still died. Let's deal with that for a little bit. Sometimes you can pray with the utmost amount of faith, knowing what God is able to do, and it still doesn't happen the way that you pray. Does that mean you should stop worshiping? That's what we're going to talk about. All right. Any questions or comments about that so far? All right. Now this is up. Understand now. He'd already began the repenting process. He'd already created in me a clean heart and these things. He repented. So it wasn't as if he was still continuously doing the things. He learned from his mistake. Let's put it that way. So he's now at a place where I've made this mistake and I've repented, and now I'm petitioning God. I know he's still God despite my mistakes, but his child still died. Okay? And the next part says one of life's greatest pains will come from the loss of a child. Obviously, we talked about that a little bit. The loss of loved ones is often seemingly too hard to bear. All right. Now let's talk about this story a little bit. But as David did, and I want us to turn to that 2 Samuel text, so that's where it's found. He let worship become his long-term remedy. It was what he did in the short term to handle where he was, but we're going to see how that worship transformed that situation to something God can use. All right, 2 Samuel, Old Testament, 12th chapter, and it says verse 20. But let me see where I want to start. 2 Samuel. All right, 2 Samuel, 12th chapter. Let's see. Let's start at verse 16. 2 Samuel 12th chapter, let's start at verse 16. All right, somebody, let's start reading there, verse 16.
David prayed to God that the child would get well. He refused to eat anything, and every night he went into his room.
He fasted. That's what that's described. Sometimes when you intently are seeking God's face, that's a deep level of worship. He fasted like we can do sometimes when we really want to draw. When you fast, when you're turning away from the flesh and physical things of the world, and you fine-tuning your hearing with God. That's what you're doing when you fast. Everybody good with that? That's what he was doing. He was removing any distraction so that he could put his face clearly in the face of God to see what God would have him to do. All right, let's keep going.
And every night he went into his room and spent the night lying on the floor.
So this wasn't just one night. This was over a period of time. Sometimes you got to persist in prayer beyond just a 10-minute prayer. Sometimes worship requires a little bit more of a sacrifice. All right, let's keep going.
His court officials went to him and tried to make him get up, but he refused and would not eat anything with them.
People around him, his elders, his consultants, people that worked for him, they were concerned about him because he was demonstrating a behavior that made them feel as if he was putting himself in danger. That's how deeply he was seeking God. He was completely ignoring his own conveniences so that he could make sure that nothing was distracting him from seeking God. This is how deeply he's worshiping. That's what I want you to understand. This wasn't just, I'm just going in my room, sitting in the closet, just waiting on the Lord. No, he was persisting in prayer. Kind of similar to how Jesus persisted in the Garden of Gethsemane. It's a deep level of worship on that level where David was. Y'all with me? All right, let's keep going.
A week later, the child died.
All right.
And David's officials were afraid to tell him the news.
All right, he's worshiping. He's not really aware of what's going on around him. So while he's worshiping, while he's seeking God's face, while he's doing everything he can to see God, they realize the child dies anyway. And now they out there saying, no, you go tell him, man. You tell him. You tell him. Because they feel like if he's already heartbroken over all that's happened, this would destroy him. because after doing everything he knew to do, he still doesn't receive what he was asking God for. A tragic loss, the loss of a child, the loss of something you expecting God to do. You prayed and believed he was going to make a way for you, but it still fell apart. And this is where David is. Y'all with me? All right, let's see how he responds when they have to try to tell him.
They said, while the child was living, David wouldn't answer us when he spoke to him. How can we tell him that his child is dead? He might do himself some harm. When David noticed them whispering to each other, he realized that the child had died. So he asked them, is the child dead? Yes, he is, they answered. David got up from the floor, took a bath, combed his hair, and changed his clothes.
Come on now, wait a minute, hold on. He just lost his child. He lost the promise he was seeking God for. Did he wallow around in the floor? Did he start placing blame? No, what did he do? Not only did he just get up from where he was, he fixed himself up. What does that represent, y'all? What is that telling us? What is he showing us? It is a form of faith. Get up, keep going. I heard somebody over here.
Sometimes you have to accept what God allows.
Okay, you got to accept what God allows. I like that.
Don't wallow in your pity.
Don't wallow in your pity.
And sometimes we fall down, but we get up.
All right, this is all good. I want somebody that's real deep to really talk about the cleaning up stuff. What are you saying?
Circumstance change, and then you yourself have to change.
There we now we getting somewhere. All right, Sister Edwards.
He just realized he had did all that he could do. He gave it up to God.
He sure did. He absolutely did. Trey, I saw your hand.
He decided not to let what was happening define, but he was letting go.
All right, kind of getting there. All right, let's make it plain. Sometimes even once you are all these things we're saying is true. He let go, let God. He did all those things. But sometimes you have to clean up the mess you were in so that you don't look like what you come through. Some people will move forward, but they want everybody to see the pity, so they get the pity of it. He not only got up and said, okay, I'm accepting what God allows. He's saying now, I don't look like what I've been through. He cleaned himself up. He had to clean himself up, fix himself up to show that he had moved past this tragedy in my life, because this tragedy does not define who my God is. If this is what God allows, I'm standing in his will and so confident in his will, I'm going to move myself, fix myself, and go forward and not allow what I've come through to define who I am and what I look like to other people that are watching my walk with God. Y'all with me? Yeah. Questions, comments? All right, did we finish that part? Let's finish it up.
Then he went and worshipped in the house of the Lord.
And he went and worshiped some more.
And when he returned to the palace, he asked for food and ate it as soon as it was served.
That's good.
That's the end of 20.
Let's talk about what he did. Okay, so he got to fix himself up. He went and worshiped a little bit more. And now he said, I'm ready to eat. And ready to get back to what I'm doing. All right, let's go a little bit further.
They said, we don't understand this. Its official said to him, while the child was alive, you wept for him and would not eat. But as soon as he died, you got up and ate. And 22 said, yes, David answered, I did fast and weep while he was still alive. I thought that the Lord might be merciful to me and not let the child die. But now that he is dead, why should I fast? Could I bring the child back to life? I will someday go to where he is, but he can never come back to me.
All right. That's faith being demonstrated right there. And he recognized, sometimes even though I don't know what God's ultimate will is, we don't always know what God's will is, I'm going to seek him and his face. And then when he reveals what his will is, who am I to go against that will? Let me accept it, let me submit to it, let me worship him yet still, because I know that at the end of the day, his will is going to still lead me to my promise. So he said, even though I didn't get my child here, don't mean I won't see him again. It just means it's going to be a little bit different circumstance. So just because sometimes your dream or what you're seeking God for dies or appears to not come on where you expected it to, doesn't mean that it's not for you. It just may not be in that way or that time. But you keep standing in the place where you're seeking God's will and worshiping Him, and you will eventually catch up to everything He had in store for you. That's faith. That's faith. All right? I hope that helps somebody. So we have to worship in the face of pain and loss, because how it appears right now is not necessarily what it really is. But if yes, you
Going
may.
back to verse 20, where he got up and took a bath and did all that. A lot of times, let me speak for my baby. My baby was diagnosed with cancer in 95. And when she called me and told me what was going on with it, it was a shock to her. But once she got the news, got her laptop, read up on what she was doing, what had attacked her body, when she got ready to go take chemo, she didn't go take chemo like she had pity party. When she went to take chemo, she was shocked. She was nice. And through that all, she went through everything, and it almost took her out. But I mean, she is just a living testimony. And but that just goes to show you when something hits you, yeah, you do kind of look all nasty, dirty, so what? But then when you get yourself together, you get shocked. You know, but you want people to see the good.
People are watching it.
Yes, people are watching you. You know, that ain't one like how did she go through all that?
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. That's a good example. And it's been proven, and I'm sure some of you all can attest to that, it's been proven that people who perceive sicknesses and things in a positive way tend to fare better than somebody who looks at it in a negative way. That's how powerful our mind is, and as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So we tend to go in the place of what we believe. You can worship the negative part of it just as much as you can worship the God part of it. So you got to make decisions when you find yourself in those places in life. It's a good example. Anybody else?
Pastor,
Yes, sir.
there's scripture that a lot of you ministers use, and it's a good scripture, interference. We don't sorrow as those who
don't
have
have
no
hope.
hope.
Yeah.
Because y'all see them come in, hollering, moaning, carrying on, and really didn't do nothing for the loved ones. And then you see those that really stuck out and they just come in quiet, because my work is done.
Yeah.
I done all I can do. I ain't got to tell the whole church.
Yeah.
I did all I could to try, and I ain't probably getting 2 or 3 days over there.
Yeah.
Didn't know she was dead until somebody called you and told you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm for real. Folks do like that. I had an auntie dead that one time, just went in the funeral, we were kids. Oh, grandma, this guy, long time ago, named Jesse James Boy, he went over and tapped on the car. He said, that ain't your grandmama on that side. I mean, seriously, mama told her, I told y'all that she just be carrying on acting like that. She didn't before do that. Just went on, oh, grandmama, I did all this, I did all that. He just pat on the shoulder, we were the kids. What we laughed so loud, he said, that ain't your grandmama, baby, your grandmama on that side. All she could do was be quiet.
Yeah.
And I ain't seen her do like that, no more. Nobody.
Yeah,
But we experience these things. They said, those that have hope don't sorrow as those
We
that
don't
have
believe
no hope.
those who have no hope. That's one of my.
When you done got to the end of your journey. Yeah, I rejoiced that morning when my mother really did that, because I seen what she was going through. I know we couldn't do no better. And I was like, Lord, you know, it's a blessing. She doing better now.
That's good. Good stuff.
That's the only thing. She doing better now.
Absolutely. All right. That's just about our. Yes, ma'am.
This reminds me of the sermon that Reverend Jones did for Cheryl.
Yeah.
Go to the child.
Go to the child. Wow. Go to the child. Y'all remember what we just read? He said, he can't come to me, but I can go to him. That's good. That's good. All right, so I pray something has been said to help us, y'all. We can't allow even these things we experience in life, even the losses, it does not become an excuse for us not to worship. Worship keeps us connected to God, keeps us connected to His will. And at the end of it, whatever was promised anyway, God will make good on it. He just may be doing it in a different way. So accept what God allows. Keep standing in the place of faith. We will deliver. All right, that's our time for tonight. Real quick before we start moving around too much. We will meet next week, but the following week on the 30th, August the 30th. I have a speaking engagement at Hope. Bishop Missionary Baptist Church at 7 p.m. They have a service where they every once in a while come together and have a service. I've been the invited speaker. The session decided that we would cancel Bible study activities for that night for anybody that would like to support. So we will not meet 2 weeks from tonight. We'll meet next week on August the 30th. We will not meet. Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church, New Market. Yes, ma'am. Alley Boom. Lord, don't be real out there. What time is it? Oh, my question. I didn't bring it in here. I got that right to the baptism.
Thank you, Carol.
It's at 7 o'clock. But I'll get you next week.
Thank you.
All right. Requests or praise reports. Prayer requests or praise reports. Stanley Fletcher, all right. All right.
And my cousin, Yvonne Hayes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Asking for prayers for Usher Rachel. She's still in the hospital.
Okay.
We're hoping she can come home sometime this week, but she won't let them do what they need to do up there, so that's what's prolonging her stay. So let's just pray for strength for her and obedience for her as well. And also asking for continued prayers for my brother and his fiance. They lost their baby last week, and they're still going through it. So I just ask for continued prayers.
Man, anybody else? All right, well, we just talked about here tonight, even in the midst of pain and loss, we can be that encouragement and that sense of faith that somebody else may not have at that moment. So let's do everything we can to lift up situations like that before God, because we know what He's able to do. God, we thank you for your faithfulness. We thank you for your love and your protection for us, God. We thank you that you provide for us in ways even when we don't understand, God. Even in the pains and losses that we've suffered and that we've experienced in life, you've shown yourself to be faithful. And for that we say thank you, Lord. We thank you for not only being the present help with us, God, but giving us something tangible that we can carry with us so that we can help and to share somebody else. Thank you for opening up your word to us, God, and giving us daily guidance on how we make it through this crazy world in which we live. Despite all that's going on around us, God, we have a constant mainstay in you, that we can put our hope and confidence in you and know that we can and we will make it. But we thank you for this church. We thank you for providing a place for us to be nurtured and for us to grow. We pray that we keep you first in all that we say and do this so we can be everything that you would have us to be. We thank you for everything that's been said and done tonight. And listen to all the prayer requests that have been lifted up and to move swiftly to the needs of your people everywhere all across this land and country. We thank you for everything that we've done here tonight, and we pray that you be with us as we leave this place. We ask it all in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.